Is fear killing your dreams? Is fear stopping you achieving what you want in life? Is fear stopping you living your life how you want to live it? And I can pretty much guarantee there'll be parts of your life where it is. For some people, it is absolutely total part of their life. Everything they do, they fear. Every step they make, every decision they make, everything they say, they fear what the outcome's going to be from that word or that action or that thing. Fear kills dreams. And it kills thousands of dreams, but fear comes from so many different directions. It's not the fear of life or death, even though fear of life and death is real, and people can get crippled by that fear that the end is nigh. But if the end is nigh, as long as you try and live a sensible and non-catastrophic lifestyle, the chance of death happening today is unlikely. If you look at statistically, millions of people across the world won't die today. I know people will say some people will, but if you go skydiving and doing danger sports and crazy things, yes, the chances go up. I'm not talking about that type of fear. I'm talking about fear in everyday life. Let me give a real example of fear that is really, really prevalent, I guess, in today's society. And I could let it stop me doing exactly what I want to do right now. Fear of criticism, fear of hate, fear of unbelievably negative, bizarre comments on social media. Social media is huge. Social media has massive upside, but also has a certain percentage of negative downside. I love doing this. I love speaking across the world. I love coaching elite level people, but now I'm very much really focused on and embracing TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, social media, talking about my passions of your past does not define you. It cannot define you. Don't let it define you. I've made endless, as I put on one video, I made 500 mistakes trying to get sober, 500 days without getting sober when I knew I had to. And that was all about fear. But the fear of coming on here and recording a video and then putting it out there for anybody and everybody to comment on, there is a degree of fear of what people are going to say. But I'm beyond that because so much has happened in my life so far. What a random person in the random universe may say about me, usually about my nose, fascinates me, absolutely fascinates me. And I'm going to be straight, literally makes me, it's most mornings I'll get up in the morning, I'll do my routines, do my gratitude, whatever, and then I'll have a look at the stats, because part of what I do is driven by stats on social media. I'm not ashamed in admitting that. It makes money and I've got to still pay bills. But I will have a look at the comments. I won't look at all comments. I will not dive into lots and lots of comments and go into a black hole of comments. But the majority of negative comments are about my nose. The majority of those negative comments about my nose are from men of a certain age, because we can see the profiles on one. Fascinates me. There's somebody's going to go out of their way on an evening to comment on the size of my nose. It's a big nose. That's it. I'm not frightened of it. I see it every bloody day. It makes me chuckle when somebody points out, wow, look at his nose, whatever, as though I've not noticed. Yeah, I've noticed. It's there. And I didn't drink him hardcore for 20 years. Probably has not helped it looking like it does. But I love it. It's who I am and it's what I stand for. And one of the weird things is it's actually becoming part of a little bit of who I am now. You know, the guy with the big nose, you know, the guy who talks about motivation and whatever. And some people will come back to me and go, tell you what, if you're brave enough to stick your face on a camera on YouTube to get absolutely battered, why can't I? If I can, you can. So it's fear. It's fear of it going wrong. It's fear of somebody saying something. But where that all comes back to is fear of failure. Now, again, we're going to talk about other people for a second here. Fear of failure. Lots of other people will highlight to you that it could go wrong. I talked about this again, you know, the Auntie Mary and those people close to you will quickly remind you, oh, you've tried that before and you've failed. It's not the failure that really, really kills people. It's the fear of it, because so many people are not following their dreams. So many people are not absolutely following their passions. It's in their heart. It's not because they don't want to. And for a lot of the time, it's not that they're not prepared to work hard, because I know lots of people who aren't particularly achieving what they want in life, who aren't particularly happy, who aren't particularly really, really on the right track, but they work really hard. I won't question that work ethic, but they're afraid to go and do something different because they're afraid it will go wrong. What's the worst can happen? Now, I know that's a ridiculous comment, because sometimes if you want to build your own business, or you want to go and be something different, or you want to go and do something completely away from that's kept you secure so far, what could happen? Yeah, well, you could lose all your money. I had loads of money, lost it all, literally lost the house, lost everything, lost my dignity, lost my status, lost everything. But the funny thing is, I was never fearful of that in the early days. I was full of belief and full of joy and full of, I'm going to drive this, because I was so driven. And I built a wonderful recruitment business. It was actually when I lost everything that I then created this habit for a number of years of fear of what will people think. And that's a fear, my fear of what will people think. For goodness sake, what does it matter what somebody down the road, or somebody you used to talk to, or somebody in your family, or your next door neighbour thinks of you? Are you doing the right things? Are you honourably going about your life and doing the right things? Are you doing the right things for you, for your family? Right? Why are you in the slightest bit frightened what that person thinks? It is their opinion, and the point in that phrase is their opinion, theirs, not yours. So don't fear what people will think about you. Don't fear. If you can go and put some videos on YouTube or TikTok and whatever, and go and tell people what you're thinking and your passions and your dreams, don't fear what some random person whose face is usually hidden behind, when their profile, they don't usually give their face, it's usually behind a sticker or a caricature. It's not usually them, so they're frightened. So even though they're out there having a go at me and my bloody big nose, but they're not prepared to put a picture of themselves out there and go and do it. But that's okay. It makes me smile. It makes me smile because I don't fear it anymore. Now, as I rebuild this life, I wrote a book. Nobody could have bought it. Was I frightened of that? No, not at all. I'd written the book. I wrote the book and sold it. And we sold lots of them. We've got new books coming out. Are we going to sell? Can I promise myself I'm going to sell lots of them? No, because you don't know. Am I fearful? No, and therefore I do it. I make it happen. I create. We go to health and fitness. People want to get fit, but then they fear that it might not work. They fear it might be too much hard work. They fear they might do the wrong exercise. When people say to me, Cliff, you can run 100K now. I want to start training. What do? I'll go, start running, start walking. Get a pair of trainers and start walking. Well, what happens? Stop worrying about what happens if. What happens if we all worried about what happened if we'd never leave the house? And actually, even being in the house is not that safe. So stop being fearful. Remove fear. If you're going to get up every day and you're going to go out there and you're going to achieve and you're going to make something of your life, and you've got this passion and you've built some belief and you've built some structure and you've built some desire and discipline around your life, what I talk about all the time, the one thing I hear lots of coaches and lots of motivators not talking about, they don't talk about the nasty bits, the gritty bits, the bits that people know about but don't want to talk about, like addiction and all those things, right? Fear is crippling, but you've got to understand fear is often not true. You are not fearful that your life is going to end. You are fearful that what you want won't happen. You are fearful you might look silly. I'm a middle-aged 50-odd-year-old bloke who's on TikTok and YouTube. Should I fear what people will think of me? Should I fear that I'm going to look silly? For lots of good people would say, yes, you should. I don't, because I know I'm doing something I love doing. And what I love doing is this, literally going above and beyond what I stand for and putting it out there and hopefully giving 1, 2, 3, 1,000, or however many we get to one day. People believe that if he can, I can. And it's about getting on with life. It's not about worrying about your big nose. It's not about worrying about losing all your money. It's not about making lots more money. It's about living a truly authentic and genuine life and removing fear. When you are in a sales job, I see lots of really talented people. I saw lots of really talented people in the recruitment sector. who would have been really, really good at recruitment, really good at engaging, really good at looking at it, but they didn't succeed. Why? Because they were frightened of sales calls. They were frightened of a sales call. So what are we going to be frightened of? A sales call. You are sat at a desk, you've got a mobile phone, and you ring a number. There's nothing fearful about that. You are fearful then about somebody answering the phone. Okay, well, there's nothing really going to hurt you there, is it? That won't hurt. So what are we fearful for? You are fearful of what that person's going to say. They're going to be negative to you. They're going to put the phone down on you. They're going to tell you to jog on, we'll say. Now, once I've done that, is that really going to hurt you? Is that really, honestly, physically going to hurt you? No. Mentally, it might give you a bit of kick in the what's it, but it's not hurt you. And the person didn't really mean it. They were just probably having a bad day. And people who comment on my posts are probably just having a bad day. And what I tell them just reminds them that they've had a bad day. And I'm really annoying because I'm not having a bad day. I'm out there, I'm living, I'm loving, I'm passionate about what I do. So what I'm talking about is I sort of talk very only about fear. Don't worry about fear. It's like mistakes. It's like failure. These things, I talk about positivity and motivation and finding your why. But one thing I'm not afraid to talk about, I'm not fearful to talk about, is the negative sides of motivation. Because we have to. Because if we want to get right and we want to achieve, you're going to have to deal with some negative things. Failure. Fear of failure. Fear of failure. Two of the worst things that can hold you back really, really ever really living the life you want, living the dreams. If you fail, you fail. It doesn't end. It only ends if you quit. We should fear quitting, but the good news is you choose. You choose whether you quit or not. Nobody else does. Don't ever let anybody tell you, no, you chose to quit. If you've quitted on something you wanted to achieve and you don't do it anymore, you've quit. That's not the end. If you go again, and you go again, and you go again, remove the fear. Remove fear of failure. Remove fear of anything. Don't go and do ridiculous things to put your life at risk. Of course, I'm not being that silly. But I'm talking about going to live your dreams. Go and be passionate. Go and talk about what you truly believe in. Go and be open to criticism. Go and be open to be laughed at. Go and be open that you might trip over and somebody's going to laugh. Do you know what? Often the people who are criticising, the people who are laughing, are the people who are doing nothing. They're just on the sidelines. When it comes to sport, I think of sport as an analogy. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be on the pitch, in the game, part of it, celebrating the trophy and winning and learning? Or do you want to be on the sidelines shouting at everybody else, doing nothing, not really engaging, not feeling that moment, absolute moment? Life is a little bit like the sports arena. You've got all these people sat in the stands and on TV and on their keyboard telling people how bad they are and how rubbish they were and how woeful they were. But then you've got this group of people in grassroots to senior to professional who are in it, who are training every day, who are removing fear every day, who are going out there and living it every day. They have the hard moments, but tell you what, they have the special moments. They have those amazing moments. No, I can't all go and be footballers. I'm not talking about being a footballer. I'm talking about look at life being a sporting or an event. Live your life. Write your own story. If you want to write your own story, you've got to accept there might be some failure, but also you've got to accept you've got to get rid of fear. Stop fearing what's going to happen. Believe it's going to be good. It won't always be good. There will be mistakes. There will be failures. But if you remove fear, if you remove that horrible feeling inside and go for it, you will be amazed how it starts coming together and how you can start shutting out the noise. And I can start looking at the comments and smiling and occasionally replying to my big nose ones. It's all right. I'm going to take my big nose with me right to the top of the world I'm engaged in now. And then I'll look back and I'll give a wink because it won't stop me. Don't let fear stop you because that is not being fair to yourself. Live that life. Truly, truly, truly remove fear and be the very, very, very best version of you because that's what you were meant to be. Enjoy.